Good morning and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Saxe, this September 19, 2021 on a beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. Let's take a deep breath in and exhale. Continue breathing in, holding it at the top, exhaling, relaxing body and mind, letting go of distractions, taking off all the proverbial hats that we wear throughout the week that we may have worn this morning. Husband, wife, partner, daughter, son, volunteer, business owner, whatever those hats are, whatever roles you play, just let them all go and allow yourself to drop down into that space where you know yourself as pure light, pure love, infinite peace, vibrant health, overflowing abundance. Allow yourself right now to reconnect with who and what you truly are, which is divinity in motion, God in expression, love in action. Just breathe and be. Starting to open up heart and mind, so that we are perfectly attuned to whatever it is needs to happen in this time together. Just breathe and be, knowing that this journey of life is just a journey of discovery. Remembering who and what you are. Knowing that all things come to be used at our disposal, to be used as tools for growth and expansion. Just be. Just be. Be. Just relax. Just relax. Feeling our gratitude for this community, for the people seated here, for all those listening remotely, for all those who will listen to this message after this day. Just allow yourself to open and be. Sitting in that space where we are infinitely aware of the divine. That same space that allows us to see the divine in all things if we are but willing to look with the eyes of love. And so from this place of centeredness and groundedness, of peace and love, we sing our centering song, Spirit's Prayer.
Loving Spirit dwells in me. now and evermore.
Good morning. How are y'all doing today? Good? That's awesome. All right, so why don't we take this time to bless the beautiful children that we have in this world and in our hearts and everywhere and in this room too. That's a beautiful little baby. Children of light, we see you guided and directed by an inward spirit that leads you into the path that is right for you. We see you strong and whole. We see you blessed and prospered. We see you courageous and confident. We see you as the spiritually perfect beings you truly are. Children of light, we bless you. Thank you. The inspirational moment is from Eric Butterworth in The Flow of Life, and the word is knowledge. The universe gives to those who plug in. Mediocrity is self-inflicted, and Genesis is self-bestowed. We should cultivate the silence, and when we are alone, the universe will talk to us in flashes of inspiration. Knowledge is ours for the asking. We do not have to learn anything. In fact, all we really need to do is recollect it, for it is already within us as a reality of light. And so repeat with me our beautiful affirmation. All I need to know is within me. All I need to know is within me. All I need to know is within me. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I haven't been here in a while on a Sunday, but I'm here now. And Kim is talking today on fear to faith, correct? So I always think that the best time to practice all the things that we're learning is when you're in the midst of little chaotic things. And a lot of times we don't want to have those chaotic things. We're like fearful of them, da-da-da-da-da, but it is where the learning happens. And so last night, while I was driving home, I said, oh my gosh, I don't have much gas in my car and I have to get up and sing tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it in the morning. Well, so I forgot. And this is just a little time that I could have practiced, and I really did not practice this morning. I got up this morning and I'm like, I get in the car. I don't leave when I want to leave. I leave later, of course. And I get in the car and I'm like, well, it says I have 41 miles left. And you guys we're 30 miles from where I live. So I'm like, well, should I get gas now and then end up there late? Or should I just drive it, and then if I need to get gas, then I can do it on the way? So I decided to drive it, so I'm like this the whole time. Oh my gosh, it's going down, it's going down, it's going down. Oh, it's at 38, oh my gosh, it's at 36, da-da-da-da-da. I'm in a panic, and I'm like, what's everyone gonna think of me if I show up there late? But what if I run out of gas? Oh my gosh, what should I do? I'm not practicing at all. I'm totally in fear and panic over something that's pretty small, but for me, the biggest thing is like showing up late, and what will people think of me if I show up late? So that's old chatter. I did not settle down until I got near a gas station right down the street. So it was actually 35 minutes of, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So just an example of
where I could have practiced and just gone within and just been peaceful and said it's just going to flow. And matter of fact, I remember saying something to you last night about letting things flow, but today that's not what happened. So anyway, that's my story. And there was, yeah, well, yeah. So what will be interesting is that I did have COVID. I'm talking a lot today. And it's left me with a fog brain. And sometimes I forget like the very first line of the song that I'm supposed to sing. And that is happening now. And that's okay. I'm going to start with the chorus. Be still and know all is well. All is well, all is well. Be still and know all is well. All is well, all is well. When those clouds roll in, don't you worry none. Before you know it, you'll be up with the sun. And on this world goes round and round. But in the chaos, there's something to be found. So be still and know all is well. All is well, all is well. Be still and know all is well. All is well, all is well. Don't you worry about the rain upon your shoulders. Don't you worry if the sun don't shine. Don't you worry if there's enough for tomorrow. For if you go inside, you will see you are a shining light. Oh, be still and know all is well. All is well, all is well. Be still and know all is well. All is well, all is well. Be still and know. Be still and know. Be still. And I never found the first verse, but that's okay.
Maybe that's the title of my next talk. Where did Flo go? She has run away. Flo has left the building with Elvis. Some of you may know who Cesar Millan is. He is known around the world for being a dog whisperer. In fact, that was the name of his TV show. And I loved watching his show just to watch him at work and him in his, that is truly his gift, is working with animals. And he grew up spending time on the farm where his grandfather worked, observing dog behavior, how they interacted with each other, how they interacted with the humans around them, and what affected their behavior. And to this day, he uses a lot of what he learned from his grandfather about dog behavior and how the owners of dogs affect their dogs' behaviors. And so he says he doesn't train dogs, he rehabilitates dogs, and he trains people. And what he trains people to do is to find that pack leader within them that has a calm assurance and allows a dog to be calm as well and happy. Because dogs mirror their owners. So if your dog is a hot mess, you need to look in the mirror, Caesar Milan says. If your dog is cray-cray, look in the mirror, Caesar says. But he does. I loved watching his stance, how he held his body, how he walked in the room, and he has said he can handle any dog, no matter how aggressive, because he knows how to do that. He knows how to show up. He knows how to behave around the dog. He knows how to bring that dog to a calm state. And it may take time, and it may take work, but he knows that the work comes through him to the animal, not the other way around. Doesn't mean he doesn't and has not gotten bitten. He has been bit by a dog. And after he was bit, he didn't quit and say, I'm never going to walk with those dogs again because some of them are just so aggressive, I can't handle it. He knew that there was something that happened within that circumstance with the dog that led him to get bitten. It might have been that he was separating two dogs that were fighting, and he can't have his eyes on everything at the same time, and so one may get out of hand and bite him while he's trying to handle one. He's got his hands on one, and the other one's fighting him as he's trying to hold on to a collar or a leash or something. So stuff happens. So there's this question in the world about if we are preparing for the worst, are we out of alignment with spiritual principle? It seems like that would be the case, because we say that everything is from within us, and that if our consciousness is such that we believe, as we say every Sunday, that everything's always working out for us, that everything should truly work out for us. But that doesn't mean that stuff doesn't happen. It means that whatever it is that happens, you have the wherewithal here within you without anybody telling you or you having to go learn anything, like the inspiration moment said. You have everything within you to handle what's going on. But doesn't mean that you don't prepare or be a good steward of the things in your life. You can decide not to insure your home if you don't have a mortgage on it, because your mortgage holder will require you to have insurance on it. But if you own your home, you could probably decide you don't want to insure it, and then if a tornado comes through and wipes it out, you may have the assurance that you could just go build another house, and it's no big deal. And through consciousness and the prosperity that you have created in your life, that's possible. Not all of us are there. Not all of us can do that. Being in spiritual alignment doesn't mean that you walk into gang territory and put your life at risk and nothing will happen to you. Being in spiritual alignment means that you know, you can discern that there may be danger or something you need to be aware of to protect you. And no matter what happens, you have everything within you to handle that situation. So it doesn't mean that you put yourself at risk because everything's always working out for me. It means that you step into life with an assuredness, like Caesar Milan does with any dog that's before him, knowing that you can handle what's there, even if you get bitten. Fear is an emotion. And we can be afraid of things real or imagined. Sometimes we have real threats. Fear is often about things that are imagined. Most of us do that throughout the week. We become afraid of things imagined. Things that will probably never happen, we're afraid of. And fear, that emotion, can make us contract. If you fall in love with someone and they break your heart, then you can be afraid of loving again, and you decide, I'm never going to love again. I'm not putting myself out there. But you contract your life and you isolate yourself, and you decide, I'm not going to be open to relationships, and then you are out of the flow. Where did flow go? You've cut off the flow because of your fear, that emotion around what could possibly happen. When you're in alignment with spiritual principle, you know that yes, the possibility is that you could get your heart broken, yet I will continue to love because there's a world of love, overflowing love out there for me somewhere. And then you trust and you have faith that you will be able to discern that the right person is there, and you will know the right person when you see that person. And that the one who is not for you, who could potentially break your heart, Spirit or the universe is already talking to you, giving you signals saying, not that one, not that one, not that one. You can say, oh, but she's pretty, she's pretty, she's pretty. She's talking to me like I like to be talked to. And the universe is saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So being in spiritual alignment doesn't mean that everyone you meet is going to fall in love with you the way you want to be loved. It means that you will know when you know, right? You'll be in that place where you know that you know that you know. And that even if your heart gets broken, that you will love again. Or that you'll have enough love in your life that even if you're not in another relationship, that your life will be so full of love that you will not feel a void in your existence or in your life. And so, yes, we can prepare for what could happen. For me, I always think of that's being in the world, but not of it. That yes, I know stuff can happen. That's why I lock my door at night. All of us, at our core, are goodness and light. We come into this world as that. But not all of us know it. All of us are in different stages of evolution, of learning and discovering that we are that, of embracing that light that we are. There are some people who don't know that they are light, and so they express in the world as something other than light. And we can be victimized by those people. Things can happen. That's why I lock my door at night. Doesn't mean that they can't still come in. Doesn't mean that I can't still be victimized. What it means is that I still know, no matter what happens, that I have the wherewithal within me to handle whatever happens. Because I've been victimized before, I am cautious everywhere I go. But I'm not in fear everywhere I go. I don't have emotion around it. But if I'm in a parking garage by myself, I am cognizant of what's happening around me. I'm not on the phone chatting to somebody, carrying a whole ton of stuff, not knowing where my car keys are. Because I'm still aware that there could be somebody in that garage looking to do something that may harm me, but I'm not afraid. I just know that I'm aware that things can happen. And I'm okay. And I'm going to have my phone in my purse and my keys in my hand, so when I get to my car, I can unlock the door and get in it. Doesn't mean that I'm out of spiritual alignment. It just means I'm in the world, but not of it. I've prepared myself for this situation. I dealt with the fear that I had because of the incident that happened, but I have not contracted my life because of it. For a while, I will tell you, I did contract and was fearful after that incident. It got so bad, I went to counseling for it. Because one night, I was at work and I had to close up, and it's 9 o'clock at night, it's dark outside, and I could not leave the building. I was terrified. So for an hour, I sat in the corner of my office, on the floor, frozen. Man, I haven't thought of that moment in decades. I was terrified of unlocking the door of that office and walking outside, because the mall had closed and I was going to have to walk through those hallways out into the dark parking lot and get into my car. Fear had made me contract in that moment. My heart was beating out of my chest. It took me an hour before I could leave there. And I literally ran to my car, got in the car, shut the door, locked it, and sat there, heart beating out of my chest again. Within a week, I was in a therapist's office getting help so that I could not contract. I didn't want to contract the rest of my life because of an incident. And so I learned some tools, some ways to deal with my fears so that I could go out in the world and live an expansive life and trust again. Now I'm prepared when I go out. And it doesn't mean that sometimes I don't discern, because I listen for cues now. I know that the universe tells me, spirit tells me, my inner GPS tells me when it's not safe. So if I get into an elevator and there may be a man alone, and I'm going to be in the elevator with him, if I feel the slightest discomfort, I walk out of that elevator and wait for another one. Doesn't mean I'm not in spiritual alignment. It means that stuff happens and there's something that always has my back, and always something is always working out for me. That's something always working out for you. It doesn't mean that the boogeyman's not there. It means that I am alerted to the boogeyman's presence. And this is how you take care of yourself. I'm a good steward of who I am and my physical well-being now. Everything is consciousness, just like Cesar Millan teaches dog owners. Everything is consciousness, how you greet your dog. In fact, you don't have to say anything to your dog. You don't have to do anything. Your presence alone will make them sit in front of you. You don't have to tell them to sit. He does call it calm assurance. Put your shoulders back. Put your head up. Be calm. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. And the dog settles down. Own the room. Own the room. Don't look him in the eyes. Don't pet him. Own the room. And the dog will know you're in charge. Life is like that. When we have that calm assurance, when we have that spiritual knowingness, things settle down around us. And it may be, if I am in the right consciousness, if I have that kind of consciousness, perhaps I can walk into gang territory, walk down the middle of the street and not be victimized. I don't have that. Somebody else might. I marvel at the people who work with lions. You see them on Facebook all the time. You know, they're romping around with them. The lions are they're petting them, laying in their laps. They're looking in their mouths, playing around. Yes. They're bears that are their pets. And you see that all the time. Or I do. I mean, I'm kind of attracted to stuff like that. Because you've got to have lion mentality, big lion mentality, because you're probably outweighed by the lion at least twice, I would think, depending on how big you are. So you've got to have lion mentality to be in space with a lion, a wild animal. I marvel at that. How do you get there? How do you get there? They are walking around with something, some kind of calm assurance that lets that lion know, I'm in charge. I'm just like you are. I have what you have. And I imagine they might get hurt at some point. Because after all, it is a beast. They're probably very much aware that at any moment, things could change like that and they could be dinner. And they still go in there every day. We have to prepare for life. Life happens. I don't know that my consciousness would allow me to stop a tornado from leveling my home. But I believe in infinite possibilities. I believe that I could possibly do that if I do that work. If I exercise my consciousness enough that I am there. I believe that's possible in all things. Do I believe that's possible for me? Yeah. Not so much. Am I calmer now when the sirens go off? Yes. When I first moved to Texas and those sirens went off, man, I was losing it. I was pacing around the house. I was wondering why he's calm. Why are you sitting there looking around? He's wondering why he still can't get his shows on TV, you know? What's wrong with the cable? I just want to watch my show. He's drinking his, his soda. Yeah, I'm running around. And then I realized this could happen a lot. Is this how I want to live? Do I want to contract? Do I want to be in fear every time one of those sirens goes off? No. And do you know what? When I was running around crazy, we had 2 cats at the time. When I was running around crazy, they were crazy. And when I started to have a calm assurance, even though those sirens were going off, when I knew that I was going to be okay no matter what, okay within me. Didn't mean my house wasn't get blown over. It doesn't mean the roof might not go off. Doesn't mean that one of us might not get hurt. What I knew was that I had the wherewithal to handle whatever came down the pike. When I got calm, and I actually would go, I still got in the bathroom, and I might still be sitting in the tub with a helmet on. And as my mother-in-law taught me, with my purse, because you need to have ID and all that other stuff, you just never know what'll happen. Have your purse. The best purse, yes. Priorities. What did Paul say? Priorities. Get the prettiest purse, take it with me. But when I calmed down, my cats calmed down. They would come sit in the tub with me. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. Life happens. Life happens. Like we talked about, so often things can change on a dime. But preparing for what can happen doesn't mean you're in fear. It could just mean that you're discerning that there are things you need to do in order to be good stewards of what you have, your property, your physical well-being, because you want to be safe. And because perhaps you get insurance so that you don't have to take out of your bank account to rebuild your home. Whatever it is. So we need to think about, am I in fear or am I in a moment of discernment about what this situation is? If you've got anxiety, if you've got frustration, confusion, if you're terror, if your heart's beating out of your chest, you're hyperventilating, fear's going on. And that's when you can say, perhaps I'm out of alignment here. There may be a real threat, there may be an imagined threat, but Flo has left the building. We can still be in the flow in the midst of stuff, as we so often talk about. And we can let go of the fear still in the moment of the fearful thing happening and know that we know that we know that we are not just okay, but that everything is truly working out for us in whatever way it happens. And it may not be in the way we think it should look. It could be that your home is blown off of its foundation, and you can still say that everything's always working out for me. Because I'm still alive. I still have dominion over my thoughts, words, and actions. Again, it doesn't mean that stuff doesn't hit the fan. It means you're aware of stuff, the possibility of stuff, that there is a fan, like we talked about last week. And that can hit us in the face, or we can deflect it, or we have spiritual shields that protect us from the fear, the anxiety, the terror of everything going in the ditch, proverbial ditch. Stuff can still look like it's in the ditch, but be okay. So it seems like there's a conflict there. But if you stay squarely in looking at the world as it is, without the eyes of higher consciousness, then yeah, it is in the ditch. Yeah, the worst just happened. And yeah, I'm screwed big time. Sometimes we're already affirming that before something's happened. Oh my God, it's all falling apart. Nothing's happened yet. That's when we're out of alignment, when we forget who and what we are, and that there's something at work in the world that has our highest and best as its first cause. That we are going to be taken care of no matter what happens. That we have everything within us to handle that situation, no matter what it looks like. Calm assurance. Calm assurance. That's a spiritual muscle. And sometimes our spiritual muscle is such that we're here with the big boys, or we're feeling not up to the task. And the secret is, just like the inspiration moment said, is being in the silence and knowing that infinite good is always present. So yes, it's a good idea to take care of the things that we do to prepare for disaster before it strikes. Because we don't know what could come. But that doesn't mean we have to stay in fear. You can be in fear. There are companies now that just teach churches how to deal with active shooter situations. It's a fact of life these days. It happens. Entire congregations, small churches have been wiped out because of an active shooter. And so preparing for it and learning how to deal with a situation like that and knowing how you could possibly protect yourself from that doesn't mean you're in fear. It means that I'm aware of the world and I'm going to get all the facts that I need in order to protect myself as much as I can, and then I let it go. Then I let it go. I don't stay in fear thinking, oh my gosh, is it this Sunday? Is it this Sunday? Should we lock the door? Should we all lay on the floor and not get up? Maybe we should not have church because stuff can happen. Maybe we should never open our doors because something could happen. Yes, it could. Even if you decided you wanted to have an armed guard out front of your door, it doesn't mean you're in fear. It just means you know that the reality of the situation is that something could happen. But you don't have to be in fear at the same time. You take the steps that you are led to take, and you let it go. You let it go. Here we are with let God, let go again. We're always back to that. Let God, let go. Just because you go to a doctor or seek medical help doesn't mean you're not in spiritual alignment. It means that you're trusting that somebody who has studied to be a doctor, who's now a very good surgeon, can come and do and help your body heal and do its work. Doctors don't heal, they assist you in healing. And yes, are there some who believe that I should not go to the doctor because I should be able to pray this and be in consciousness where I can heal myself? Yes, there are. And if you're there, I say, pray yourself to being healed. If you have that consciousness. But if not, there's nothing that says you're out of spiritual alignment because you want to go and have some assistance in having your body heal. You are still in spiritual alignment. And you're allowing somebody else who has the knowledge and has learned and is doing their thing. They're using their gift to allow others to heal, to help them heal. And your divinity aligns with their divinity, and work is done in your body that probably could not have been done without the other. You're greater than the sum of its parts. Spiritual alignment. You're in it when you know that you know that you know. At the level that you know. And your level might be different than mine. Or your level is higher than mine or is stronger than mine in one area, and maybe I'm stronger in another area. And that's why we come in community, so I can learn from you and you can learn from me. And you can hold space for me when I can't do it myself. And I can do the same for you. Stuff happens. The world is unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. The universe doesn't promise that stuff isn't going to happen. What the universe promises is that your highest and best is always at work, and that infinite good is always there, always present, always ready to resolve that situation at the level of your consciousness. And so every time I meet something, like Robin talked about this morning, she had her own journey with that. I have it too. And every single time I encounter something else that kind of knocks me off my center, I get to flex my spiritual muscle and learn how to be in alignment in a different situation with a different level of strength, perhaps. It's another opportunity to learn. And then the next time I get in that situation, perhaps it doesn't even faze me. Perhaps next month, if Robin's in that situation again, she's like, oh, 41 miles worth of gas, I'm in the car.
Or how about fill the tank the night before?
So yes. Yes. She could have just filled the tank the night before. Because something was already telling her that this morning was going to happen. I've done the same thing and driven somewhere on a fume and a prayer. More prayer than fume. Yes. Haven't we all heard the guidance and ignored it? And we will again, probably. We will again, probably. Because Flo leaves the building. Actually, we open the door and we let her out. She doesn't live on her own. Give yourself some grace about not being in alignment. Start paying attention. Am I in fear, or am I just discerning what the situation is and making a decision based on the facts that I see and I believe? That's discernment. And then you have faith after you take the steps that you're led to do that everything's going to be all right. Or you can be in fear. You can be in fear even if you take the steps, like I said. You can insure your home, and every single time the wind blows a little fast, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose it all. Fear or faith? Fear versus faith. It's a walk, it's a journey, it's a process, it's a muscle. It's a muscle. Let's take this into meditation. So let's, in a few minutes before us, just get quiet. And as you get quiet, I want you to think about something that you may have some fear about, real or imagined, doesn't matter. What are you holding fear about? And in the quiet, I want you to just ask, how do I find my faith in this moment, in this circumstance? What does faith look like? How do I get back into alignment? How do I feel the flow of goodness in this instance? And then wait for the answer. Let's stay in the quiet together. take a deep breath together. Exhale. Saying yes and thank you for whatever inspiration we have received, or for whatever inspiration is to come. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. So as we are in this prayerful state, let's lift the names of those for whom we want to pray. Danielle and Tony, for Cheryl, for Stephanie, Dennis, Ezra and family. For Mary Lou. For all those living in fear, real or imagined, who have forgotten who and what they are, beings of light, infinite love. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. And so we know that Source is first cause of everything in our lives. And with the feeling of peace and a knowingness of an overflowing abundance in this world, we now recite our giving celebration together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all the good that I am and have, all the good that I give and receive. And so it is.
So I always find gratitude puts me in faith. My mom always says, well, both my parents, don't go below a half a tank of gas. Never. And when she gets in my car and she's on the passenger side, she gets in. And I see her eyes looking over there. I go, I have a quarter tank. She goes, mm-hmm. So anyway, I'm grateful for my mom, but I'm grateful for this community and grateful for this day. Today I saw the sun. I stood out in the rain and I watched the eagle fly again. I heard a baby crying and I walked right through the storm and felt the wind so peaceful. I'm grateful, thankful. I'm grateful, thankful. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's bless our offering. We are deeply grateful for everything that flows into this community, the time, treasure, and talent, all the wonderful souls who come and give and contribute to this service, to all the things that we do, and all of you who are in this community who bless it and make it what it is. For all these things and everything else, we say yes and thank you. Amen. So just the first slide. So thank you very much, everybody who's liking and sharing and commenting on posts. Our numbers are going up. Thank you very, very much. Please keep it going, keep it going. And our numbers have, in fact, just about doubled so far. So we're up to about 300, 400 sometimes or more people looking at our posts or seeing them. And so just a little bit of commenting, liking, and sharing is really going a long way. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's keep that going. Gosh, there was something else I wanted to say, and it went out of my head. Where did Flo go? Flo is just all over the place these days. Fred, do you have anything you want to announce? You're getting ready to get... You're going to be...
Thank you very much. You want to help me? Okay. Okay, I'll tell y'all a quick story. There was a preacher. His name was Jerry, and he bought a brand new Corvette. And he was so excited, and so he jumped in it and took off and was going 80, 85 miles an hour. And sure enough, looked in the rearview mirror, and there's a police behind him. So he decides, oh, what the heck? So he floors it. Now he's going 120, and the guy's still back there, and so he finally came to his senses, and he pulls over, and the highway patrolman comes up to the window and he says, look, it's 4:30 on Friday afternoon. My shift is over in 30 minutes. If you can tell me a reason that you were speeding, then I will let you go. So he thinks about it a minute, prays about it, and he said, well, to be honest with you, several years ago, my wife ran off with a highway patrolman. And I thought you were bringing her back. So the officer said, have a nice day. Now, the bricks that we finally finished, our project is just about finished. They will be installed sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. They're laying on the table out there, the ones that haven't been installed yet. So we're anxious to get them in place, and then at some point, probably in November, early December, we'll probably have a memorial celebration dedicating the brick project. We were going to do it last year, but we got interrupted by the big COVID, so we're not going to do it. So, and the other thing that I wanted to mention, we really do appreciate everybody's effort to wear masks. It has helped us as a board. It has helped us tremendously to try to keep everybody healthy, to try to keep everybody safe, because among anything else, this is supposed to be a safe place to be. And so by wearing masks, whether you're vaccinated or not, unless you're going to wear a big sign on your forehead that says, I have been vaccinated, we really appreciate the fact that you're trying and that you're wearing your mask while you're in the building. So thank you very much.
Fred, there's no more orders for breaks. That's all finished, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The last thing I did want to tell you is I spent the afternoon with Reba and Eddie last Monday, and they send their love to everyone. They are doing fine. They're very happy in their new home. They miss everybody desperately, so they did want to let you know they're always thinking of us. And of course, they're always a part of our family. So they are doing very, very well, and they both look great. And it was a great time together. So they send their love. Jerry? The one with the sports car.
Was really $100.
It's on.
If you will join me in the vision and mission statement.
We are Unity
Spiritual Center Saxe. We are a thriving global community of spiritual seekers transforming lives through love and the expression of our innately divine gifts. Our mission is to inspire spiritual and personal growth through the teaching and demonstration of unity principles toward the realization of living our best lives. Divine wisdom is at work in every area of our lives right now. Everything is always working out for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence this morning. I love you all. Have a glorious week. Namaste.